Okay guys, hope you can all hear me. You can hear my dog certainly in the back, which is always handy. Uh, okay, so I'll start. So today I'm here just to tell you about my journey from going from when I was 16 years old right the way through to my printing career. So already you know, my name's Aron. I've worked in Southend for the last 30 years and I've recently sold my company, Solo Press. And I'm here this morning to tell you about when I was 16, looking for a job after my GCSEs and how my schooling was. When I was growing up, I was never interested in school, but I always tried my hardest and always like looking and learning, trying to make a pound. I lived in a village called Holbridge, where you either worked or unfortunately got hooked on drugs. My parents never had much money, but they both worked and always tried to give me the best of what they could afford. So I started delivering leaflets around Holbridge for about half a penny a leaflet when I was 14 years old after school. Then I got a paper round and I took the longest round as it was an extra £1. This meant I got £5 for a 7-day week. I went out on a Sunday, which was the hardest round of all because it's full of those magazines back in the days. They're still there now today. Around this time, I was selling sweets at school and I was making £5 a day and taking orders for more sweets. I then heard there was a milk round going for £5 on a Saturday. So I left the paper round and became a milk round. The tips were great. At this time, my friend was a greengrocer and I kept asking him if there was a position and keep looking out for an opening for me so I can get in there. So in 1987, that opening appeared, so I jumped at the chance. And I was now working twice a day, every day, before school and after school, but I was earning £90 a week. This was big money back then, and this was all before the supermarkets took over. So I took my GCSEs, which didn't go very well, and there were lots of ungraded marks. In fact, my highest mark in my GCSE was D in pottery, and I haven't done it since. I came out of school facing that harsh reality that I needed a job. So I went through the Yellow Pages, which is today's equivalent to the internet, ringing all of the printing companies in the Yellow Pages. The only reason I chose printing is that my granddad worked in the print and my dad worked in the printing industry as well for other companies. So I thought I would follow in their footsteps as I didn't really know what to do. I got to D in the Yellow Pages and I found a company called Dell Print and they said, come along for an interview. I was seriously nervous, but they gave me an opportunity. But I wasn't sure whether to take the job as it was only £50 a week. And I was earning £90 a week as a greengrocer. So off I go back home, speak to my dad. And I said to my dad, should I take the apprenticeship? He said, yes, absolutely. Leave the greengrocers and start an apprenticeship. You need something behind you. So I went for the apprenticeship in print. Luckily, I left the greengrocers as it went under 2 years later as the supermarkets destroyed all of those local stores. So here we go. So my 5-year apprenticeship started and they sent and paid for me to go to Barking College. After about 2 years, I was actually printing on a machine, but still making teas. After 5 years, I had to sit an exam, which I passed with a merit, which was pretty good as I was not great at sitting exams. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. So I'm now a printer with a City and Guild certificate in my hand, but still only earning £50 a week. Still earning £50 a week after 5 years. So I stayed there a further year, but kept looking out for an opening where my friends were working. They were all earning £300 a week in Southend. I've always worked in Southend, and Southend has always offered me lots of opportunities over the years, which I'm very thankful for. So I remember going for the interview in my overalls and they asked me to print a job. So I did and they offered me the position. So I left the company and they gave me the great opportunity of an apprenticeship. This was a really big move, but sometimes you have to be brave when pushing for your dream. I was now on £300 a week, but this company was not nice as a company I did my apprenticeship for. The reason being is that I used to have to work in a basement where it was really hot, the facilities were awful. It was really tough company company to work for. It was really hard work, but I wanted nice things in life, so I stayed there. But I always wanted and dreamed of owning my own printing company. So I kept working lots of overtime, sometimes a lot more than my working week. Sometimes I would even work 80 hours in a week. I remember working 3 days straight with no sleep, and which paid for our ensuite and new shower and everything, all in 3 days' pay. In 1997, I got engaged to my wife, and I thought I needed to make a better life for us. I really still wanted to start a printing business, but I must have spoke to everybody telling them that I'm going to do it, but I was so scared. The push I needed, that my boss kept promising me a rise and promotions, and they never came through. I worked hours and hours and still nothing. And then one day they merged with a company. That put me in a really depressive state, unfortunately. And I thought, right, now's the chance. This is my chance to really go for it. I need to get out there and start my business. So I decided to go for it, and I went to the bank and got a very small loan from the bank, and I begged and borrowed to start my own print business. I bought an old printing machine, an old guillotine, and some other equipment, all really, really cheap, and then rented the factory on the Greyhound estate in Southend-on-Sea. I remember on the very first day I got my machine, it got swung in, the engineer put it together, and they needed another £6,000 worth of repairs, because the person that sold it to me saw that I was young and naive and took all the good stuff off of it, and I was left with all the bad stuff. I had no money left, and the engineer said, I'll pay for it all, just pay me over 6 months. What a friend. He wasn't a friend at the time, he was an engineer, but we still speak to this day, 20 odd years on. So I started my own business in the year 2000 on my own, and I was working day and night in that factory. We had just had our first baby. I didn't need any more motivation once I had a child. But I never went home properly for about 3 years. I bought my first unit in 2003, and we had about 8 staff when I bought that factory, and I paid $55,000 for that factory. In 2017, we sold our business to a group, and I had 350 staff at that point. And nowadays, and I was turning over 30 million, that business. It's about 34 million it was turning over, and with 350 staff. I've now started my own charity, and I'm helping people suffering with mental health, as I had a cycling accident in 2014, and I got diagnosed with PTSD, which I'm absolutely fine now, and I wanted to help people that maybe are not as fortunate as me to have private health insurance. I still take to this day the words that my parents said: if you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. Give me 2 seconds. My notes. So if you are like me and you find school difficult, please remember that there's always an option for you. Apprenticeships are a great way to start your career and really help you learn and grow. Always look for the next opportunity, because it's never too late to start anything. There are lots of opportunities out there if you're willing to try hard. I wish you all the best for your coming years, and I'll be here to answer any questions online till about 12. If not, contact me on LinkedIn. I'll be only too pleased to help. Thank you all so much for listening.